Today, I am doing a little bit of the English paper piecing. So what started it, I have no idea. Probably The Last Homely Cottage, which is a YouTube channel. And then I asked for this book for Christmas. Jessica, please don't make me say that. It has absolutely everything on how, from beginning to end, the different shapes, and then you can design your own. It is an amazing book. I love it. Ooh, I want to do that one next. Anyway, stop. So, anyway, you can design your own. There's different sizes. So I went to this page. I was like, oh, that's great. I love that size. That I can handle that. No, ma'am. Most of my fabric is that size, so that's not gonna work. So we went to that one. That is a 3/4 inch. And I went on Amazon and purchased 3/4 inch pieces of paper. I did try to cut out my own. I traced it and I had to cut them out individually, and it was frustrating for me. That is 2 centimeters, which is the length of the side. Anywho, that's the book. Moving to my fabric, these are the sizes that I get off of my bags. So when I'm done sewing, I've cut the corner off, and some of this I will, with these, I'll use the seam ripper, and I will rip out so that I have 2 squares. Oh, this is why we do this beforehand. So I have 2 squares. Technically, I'll have 4 squares from each bag. And these squares are this size. I have just regular 100% polyester. I use Gutermann because I've tried the the cheaper strings and thread, and they just fray, especially on my machine for sewing. They'll gum up the machine faster than anything I've ever had. Gutermann is really good. It's a little bit more expensive. So I do reuse these. We'll grab one that I've already used. You can see it's all bent, and that's okay. It still works. I put it on the fabric, and then I will cut along the side. I am now learning to put this in a box because it goes all over my couch. So I will cut that. It is not perfect, and maybe I should show you. It's not perfect. I don't care. It's not going to work. I mean, it doesn't matter. I fold this down, and I put, they said paper clips, but I don't have regular paper clips, so we're going to use these. And I just do the 2 sides. That is how I pin mine. I do each one at a time, so I do not mass produce. I won't go through and put a whole bunch of these on papers with paper clips. So I won't do each step. So I'll do this whole step for each one. It does not take me very long. I will then take this. This is my first corner. I don't know if I'm left-handed or right-handed, but this is how I do it. I have an embroidery needle. It does have a sharp edge on it. And I do poke myself all day long. I double it with a knot on the end. I attach, and the instructions are all in the book. And it shows you how to do each different shape. I cover the corner. Does not have to be perfect. I also found out from error that if you make it too tight, it will be harder to sew together. Take that off. So I sew a bunch of the papers onto each hexagon, and then I do make a pile of those. So I do have a bunch that I can do. I fold each corner over, finger press it. I have seen people go through the paper. I do not go through the paper. I just slide this right along the outside of the paper, because if I go through the paper, it would make it that much harder for the paper to come out. And I have some of those set up so that you can see me take some paper out. Final one right here. I have started pulling out some of the thread. So that's finished. I do not tie off the end. I just usually pull that through there so that it goes. And it won't come undone while I'm sewing it, because I think I will pull out all of the string and before I sew it all together, before I actually quilt it. Then I make a bunch of those. If you're offended, this has got offensive stuff on it. The balloon doggies. Anyway, I will make a bunch of these in different colors using all the little bits of fabric, and they will be sewn onto the blanket. I do that because then I randomly close my eyes and pick one. And as long as it doesn't have one that's next to another color, it's good to go. I will admit that that is very, very difficult for me. I don't do so well with random. Adding one on, I'm going to add one on here. So what you can see in the back is I have taken, because it is very stiff when the paper is still in it. So I have taken all the papers out of these and I go row by row because I'm OCD. So with this, I do not know if I have the other needle out. I do have another needle. I have used my finger. I have used, I use a blunt needle because this one will poke through. And you just stick, let's see if I can do one. You stick a needle, that went through the fabric. So use the other end. There we go. It pops right out. And then I'll put that one back in the bag. But I just pop them out. I think I went through the string on that one. I'm sorry, through the fabric on that one. Yeah, I'm getting caught on the fabric. So I use a blunt needle and it just pops right out. All right, and let's attach. So I'm gonna attach this one. I just finished it. Normally I'll tuck the end in. I won't have to worry about it. With this one, I'm going to, is that a string or, yeah, I'm stuck. Okay, so I will go just under and into the one of the corners. There we go. One of the corners. I will then front side to front side. Usually fold this down because I have tiny hands. And I will immediately attach each side. When I sew this part, I do not catch the paper. So I'm going just in between both layers of fabric, but just barely catching the paper, which makes it fray just a little bit, so you can kind of see where my needle has caught as I'm sewing them together. But I do this over and over again. I find it calming and methodical. I have not decided what I'm going to do as far as, I apologize, it keeps blurring in and out. I have not decided, because the squares are so small, if I am going to, or how I'm going to quilt it or top stitch it when it's done. Because the squares are so small, it would be a ridiculous amount of work to go back through and sew or stitch on top of every seam. But I don't know what I want for an overall pattern, and I don't know if I'm going to have it. I have a couple friends who have quilt machines, and I will go to confer with them to see what they say about what this should look like, or the best pattern, or I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Right now, I think I have enough scraps from my bags. They're still incoming. I just grabbed another pile. I have enough scraps to make probably I would go with a double quilt. So it'll fit on a double bed. We'll see.